I had a council member call me about 2 years ago. He's a white gentleman, super nice guy. It tells you how much respect I have for him. He has my cell phone number. So he calls me on a Sunday. He says, "Hey Smith, you got some time?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He was like, "What does Black progress look like?" He threw me for a loop. I was like, "Wow, that's a serious question on a Sunday, Councilman." um, and I had a thing for a moment, and I'll tell you this, sir. To what you said about we should be further than where we are. Everybody should be on notice. One of the complexities and conundrums, if you will, is that, and I told him this. I said, "Sir, if you call 100 Black people, not families, not men, but you call 100 Black people in this town, not nowhere else, just in our town, and ask them that question, you're going to get 100 different answers because we can't get on the same page for some reason." Now, I'm sure that's a whole different conversation, but to your point about being on notice, if we could get on the same page, if we could get on the same page, notice will be served. Notice will be served, and I know that's a whole different topic, but I had to share that with you because it just hits home. You're right. We should be somewhere else. People should be on notice. We just have to get on the same page. We got to get on the same page.
You know what the hardest thing about it is, in my opinion, is that a lot of people don't know what they're fighting for. And I don't, and I get that perspective, to be honest. I understand it because we're fighting for something that has never existed. That's exactly what's happening. We're fighting for something that's imaginary. And so it is, it is a very difficult thing to get people to come to terms with, especially because, just because, people like to see the tangible results of their work, right? It's a very basic human thing to want that. But yeah, how do you commit yourself to something that you're admitting that in your lifetime you may not see the fruits of your labor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I to that point. So look, again, to the struggle of getting together on the same page. The civil rights movement was for one thing. So it wasn't, you didn't have to call 100 different Black people and find out what they wanted. They wanted what Dr. King was fighting for. And I'm just putting him out there, but I know it was a collective unit. But my point is, Black folks wanted one thing, right? Now, as a collective, I'm not sure we know what we want. Just like you said, this imaginary, elusive, something that has never existed. Who's going to create it? Who's going to be the designer? Who's going to be in control of it, right? Who makes it up? And so I think that just adds to the complexity.
Well, let's take some of that complexity out of it, okay? Because ultimately, there are some facts about our existence that can help us with that. I feel, which is we are in fact Americans. We are, we do in fact exist in the United States of America, which has a federal government and a bunch of state governments and then a bunch of local governments. That much is the reality, and a lot of policy is dictated through those governments. If we accept that reality, then we have to take control of the system of power. It actually is not, I don't think it's super complicated. I just think that ultimately figuring out how to get it to happen in a way that will be allowed by the country is the complication, because ultimately that'll never happen without substantial sacrifices at every level. And that is where the rubber meets the road. That is where people have to choose. Who are you? What are your values? What are you willing to do? Where do you draw the line? are you going to wait for lines to be drawn for you? You know,
Right. And I love that. And I agree with you 1,000%. I'm wholeheartedly on board with understanding our governmental system that controls this country. Um, and this stands true to this day. That's that's the place. That's the arena where representation matters. To your point about policy and how our government is functioning currently, you know, we have to be in a seat. We have to be in a seat where one, we can have our voice, two, we can be seen, share our lived existence, right? And I share this because I think it kind of cuts, again, me trying to get to the point of things and us making a difference as a Black community. Since the creation of our government in the 1700s, we've had, I don't know, I want to be accurate, but I'm going to guess and say about 2,500 senators. I think less than 15 of them have been Black. And the first one didn't happen until, I think, the late 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. Today, I don't think we have 5 Black senators. Um, could be, could be about 3 or 4 Black senators. And I'm not talking House of Representatives. I'm talking actual senators, right? Now, for folks to understand when we start to want or we demand, you know, financial mobility, social mobility, how do we create generational wealth? You know, if you don't understand the implications of legislator and how capitalism is intertwined to all of this, then we will never prosper. We can't get to somewhere if we don't, like you said, we need to get involved in government. We need to, if we're going to address some things, we need to get involved in government. You can have all the money. Look at Oprah. Look at LeBron. Look at all of these. Where's their power at, other than having money? You know, they're not in a position.
Oh, they have. Oh, no, I disagree. I think they are in a position. I think they absolutely are in a position. They simply have made a choice. First of all, in order to make as much money as these people have made, see, these are the paradoxes that exist in our country now that it's been overrun with white supremacy for so long. In order to make that much money as a Black person, there is no way of doing it without compromising some of these values that we're talking about, that people who need to get into these positions need to utilize their power based upon those values. So, unfortunately, while these people are, in fact, I think, positioned to catalyze the kind of changes that we need to help get people in government positions even. Like, I mean, we've already got rich people doing that who are racialized as white. We've got people using their outsized influence to place people in certain positions, to lobby people for certain things that they want. We have people who could do that work, but they're not. And
there you go.
They don't have, you know, I mean, I think that it's just a choice. It's a choice of your values. Like, do your values tell you to use your money and power and influence for that purpose? It's a risk. They will lose everything. Those people will lose everything, and they know it. And so they're constantly making a choice. No, I'm going to keep what I, you know, sacrificed everything and worked so hard for, and now my family relies on it, and this is how I'm known, this is how I'm perceived. I'm going to hold on to that perception of me as well. Like, I mean, I mean, what we need is someone to be able to get to that point with the values of somebody who didn't get to that point.
Absolutely. No, I agree with everything you said. I truly do. You know, and I will say this. Imagine if collectively some of our most wealthiest Black human counterparts, I don't know the word I'm looking for there, but some of our Black folks in our community decided they're going to create a super PAC to fund one specific or a group of specific Black folks to run for senator. Someone would be on notice. Someone would be on notice because that tells you that there is a collective standing behind this individual or this group, right? That's where I would like to see us. If we're going to talk about getting involved with government, you know, to your point about putting people on notice, then we would have to collectively almost create the superpower of substance to support that person. Because quietly behind closed doors, the systematic cogs that have been in place since the 16 and 1700s, all these corporations that create these non-traceable financial donations of these super PACs will always try to crush any efforts that a particular Black person may want to make to get their foot into a senator position. Look at Mitch McConnell. I'm on a tangent now, and I don't mean to, and you can cut me off and shut me off. But that dude's just there because he got money. He got donors, right? No one, he's not going to leave that seat. He just said it. I'm not leaving this seat. Why would he? You know, he's been controlled for 40 years. To our point about power, right? Imagine if we had a Black man sitting in a senator's position for 40 years in a tangible position, right? I'm not talking about, you know, a senator from Idaho. I'm talking about a senator from New York, a senator from California, Texas. I know that would be difficult, and Florida. But all of these places where the capitalism drives that energy, and we have gross national products in California, Texas, and Florida that outpace a lot of countries. If we had a super PAC of donors backing a specific or whoever this Black person would be, to now gain a powerful position within our United States government, it'd be powerful.
That's where the power lies. Yeah,
that's it.
That's where the power lies. If you, you know, and I'm not even gonna play again. I'm gonna say that, like, you know, even when people do get in positions of power and they're able to do stuff, their power gets legislated away as well. However,
yes, sir.
Like,
yes, sir.
You know, that is our directionality. That is where our efforts need to be placed. And I think a lot of people are just scared. Honestly, I think a lot of people are fearful. I think there's a lot of ignorance about what needs to happen, or like how it can be justified as well. I think a lot of people are like, okay, we get Black people in, but Black people also support white supremacy. And it's true. So it's complicated, you know, there's no easy answer. It's just about it's not just about creating the support. It's also about creating a system of accountability that everyone can believe in. That is something that we have lost, you know, the 3 branches of government and checks and balances, you know, that we were all taught. I think all of that is a little bit out the window at this point.
Yeah, way out the window.
Yeah,
way out the window.
I don't think that story is gonna hold a lot of water from this point on. So it's gonna, like, we need to figure something out, you know, something that's more real. Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.